Hey there, it's Meg Cowden with Seed to Fork, and welcome to my June garden tour. May was a phenomenal month for plants growth in the garden. Despite having not enough rainfall, we had amazing temperatures, and all of my things that I set out in May, things like tomatoes, they just took off. I got my peppers in about the third week of May. They're doing great, and it's just remarkable. The garden feels very full already, despite what felt like a really slow start to spring has quickly transformed. It's the power of the sun. So I'm excited to share with you as much of the garden as we can get through in about 10 minutes today. So let's get started. One thing I've really tried to commit to this year is really to try and push some of my flowers. And so I might have started my zinnia just a little bit earlier, but I did try and start my gomphrena with enough time. They looked kind of sad a couple weeks ago, and they are real heat lovers, gomphrena, also known as globe amaranth. I've tucked them into more places than ever this year. I grew a few more, but I'm very excited and happy to see that our flowers have really settled in. These are some of my peppers. I've got a row of jalapenos in the middle, and they're flagged by bell peppers. They look great. We've got our determinate tomatoes right there, and I am growing those with a horizontal panel. I did this last year and it worked out really well. It's just a nice way to give determinate tomatoes a little bit of support, especially when they get just really flush with fruit in another couple months. And here we are with my earliest succession. I have not harvested any cabbages from these babies yet. These are my tiara cabbages. They're coming along though. I interplanted with beets after I finished my radish succession here. So you can see that the beets, I planted them a little farther out. It turned out to be a perfect plant spacing. So I had basically 3 successions out of this one little area. I've started harvesting my kohlrabi. I've got 1 bok choy left here, and that's my earliest bok choy. And you can see in the middle of this, I have tucked a summer squash. So I've already started succession planting within this. There were multiple successions already. So as I harvest out the rest of these kohlrabi in the next week or so and that bok choy, this space will just totally turn over to that 1 summer squash. Cilantro, I can't believe it hasn't flowered yet, but we have both direct seeded and transplanted cilantro, and it's just out of control. We harvested our first broccoli yesterday. We've got more broccoli coming in. This might be Covina. It's a variety that doesn't have as tight of a head as I like, but cilantro is definitely being a little thuggish with some of the stuff here. Like I've got a lettuce here. This lettuce looks like it's doing okay. This is probably a Marvel of 4, Butterhead. We did harvest our first Napa cabbage the other day and enjoyed that for dinner. Beautiful Rouge de Hiver. I'm not sure how you say it. That's a really beautiful new head lettuce. And lots more cabbages. So this is really my earliest succession. So where we start over there with the fastest maturing varieties, we come into here and this clears out more like in July. So I use this space for things like later successions of beans or fall carrots, last rounds of carrots. Here's another planting of broccoli. This one went out around the same time. These heads just form a much tighter head. This is Belstar broccoli, and it does great side shoot production as well. Partway through, I did tuck in some lettuce here. This is a really nice example of how proper plant spacing will nearly close in that canopy, but these lettuces are also pretty mature, so they're just kind of sitting here and waiting to be harvested. These are speckled back trout lettuce. Back on one. Snap peas probably can be harvested here in the next day or 2. Look at that. Once they get going, they just go for it. Beautiful flush on both sides, really. And these are shelling peas, and these are snow peas. So shelling peas also starting to come in, which is fantastic. And then over here, I've got tomatoes. I've been pruning them like I do, which is to about 3 liters. And we've got fruit set on a lot of them. This is a new variety to me, Marzano Fire from Artisan Seeds. I'm excited to try that one this year. And we do have some earliest sun golds that I've already picked, and then those are some more that are ready to pick. Earliest succession of corn is coming along, which is pretty remarkable. And then you see way back there, we've got some buckwheat. I've got another set of determinate tomatoes as well. And onions. I mean, onions amaze me. So I start them from seed, and they take a little while to establish. Once they establish, they really just take off. So I've got, these are Patterson and forget the other red variety in here, but I've alternated some of those, and I've got some gold coins in here, which are not doing as well, but they are slowly recovering. More onions here, more Pattersons. I recently hilled our potatoes. Our potatoes are looking really nice all in all. I think we've got 8 or 9 varieties of potatoes we're growing this year. So I've got one planting here, and the other planting is the row behind the buckwheat. Buckwheat cover crop is in place for fall cabbages. Those fall cabbages are really like 90-day cabbages. They are seeded already. So they are good to go. So that is going to start flowering soon. And in another couple weeks, I will cut it down once it's done flowering and the bees have enjoyed it. My earliest planting of carrots, I desperately need to come in and thin these. Like you can see right here, that's way too many carrots. So I just need to come in, and really start teasing these apart. I'm gonna try to pull some out here. Oh, yeah. The dry soil is not helping the situation. It is so dry, it's hard to even pull these out. So this is maybe a job for 2 hands, not 1. But I'm gonna get a baby carrot, see? They definitely need to be thinned. Okay, last but not least, so I've got some soft neck and then hard neck garlic. It is scaping, not everywhere, but I am seeing scapes. I haven't harvested any yet, but one of my favorite things to make is garlic scape pesto. It's absolutely one of our most favorite. So down here, I'm down near the bean trellis here. This is my 2nd or 3rd planting of broccoli, and it's also my 2nd succession of bok choy. Now I showed you the bok choy up at the top of the garden, and this broccoli is definitely a couple weeks behind. You can also see we've got some damage from insects here as well. I do treat my brassicas with BT, and I am pretty active about finding, when I find eggs, there's an egg right there. When I find eggs, I'll smush them, and if I find the larva, I will smush them too. So they can be kind of hard to spot. But this is a really great 2nd succession of broccoli. This is also Belstar. It's very heat tolerant, so we'll be enjoying this in July. But what's pretty remarkable is this bok choy went in the ground about a month after the bok choy that I showed you up at the very top of the garden. And it's about ready at the same time. So succession planting bok choy is maybe not necessary, although it's a very fast grower and it catches up quickly. So the timing of it, I probably could have delayed this planting even more to give us a little more time with the other planting. These beans are also being snacked on by that bean leaf beetle. It's interesting, they're going for my pole beans, and my pole beans used to be off limits to insects, I felt like. I've got some celery behind there. I put my celery behind these in the hopes that they would really enjoy some partial shade here as the summer kicks in. The celery looks amazing. I haven't harvested it yet. So more beans. I've got cauliflower down here interplanted with beets. Got some lemongrass. Cauliflower also had some insect damage, as you can see. I have treated it for BT, and I try to keep an eye out for more insects, but we've got our leeks down here and lots of herbs. So the other thing I really love to do from a design feature and for succession planting is I really love to interplant these end caps. So it's sort of where these beds all start angling, all of these little triangular beds. I generally plant somewhat differently. All of them have a pink alyssum in them. This one has 3 different eggplants in it, interplanted with calendula, snapdragons, and there's a volunteer dill because dill happens. And here I've got just an extra random tomato and alyssum, and here you can see I've got some garlic from last year, something that obviously either I didn't get or didn't. It looks like a bulb that I missed, honestly, the way it's growing. I'm letting it go. I've got calendula, another eggplant, lots of calendula actually, and a snapdragon. So, and over here we've got fennel mixed in with a micro tomato and snapdragons and one little eggplant back there. So my point about all of this is I really like to have each of these areas be kind of a place where I can stop and really appreciate. This is another micro tomato. I think this is the Florida Micro Tom. It's tiny, very sweet. So kind of fun, a fun way to kind of add interest as we walk down this main garden path. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing where the garden's at and having a walk around with me. As I said at the beginning, I think the garden is just looking absolutely fabulous. It's kind of in its peak of late spring right now. And if you are local in Minnesota or even Western Wisconsin and you want to come see the garden, there's an opportunity on July 8th to come tour the garden in person. It's a fundraiser for my local Extension Master Gardener program. I am a volunteer master gardener with Hennepin County, and it's on July 8th, and it's anytime between 8:30 and 4:30 p.m. Tickets are $15 advanced and $20 the day of, and you can find out all information you need at hennepinmastergardeners.org. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in July right here with more garden updates.